What is up, Internet Land? Zachimus Prime, aka Zachimus Prime, here with other Transformers video review for you. And today, the figure that we're taking a look at, the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Ultra Magnus. And yeah, it's Ultra Magnus. So this is Studio Series first. This is their first commander class. And he is a big, chunky boy. Of course, they did we had a leader class Siege Ultra Magnus, and we had a leader class Earthrise Ultra Magnus. And both of those utilized the, white inner body sort of a thing. Which is technically more toy accurate. This one utilizes the all-in-one design, and it's really interesting how different they are. I don't know, I'm not sure offhand. I can't tell you right offhand if I prefer the all-in-one design or if I prefer the armor design, because both of them have their pros and cons. I think that using the arms of the White Prime as the arms like they did with the Earthrise mold, maybe not the best plan, but there are other designs that have gone around, the new H1 or the upcoming Fans Toys one, or a couple of them that use more, I don't know, functional design. But I'm not talking about them here. I'm just talking about this guy. But yeah, I do like that they put a lot of work into the back of it. He doesn't have that big of a butt flap. He's got some molding details on the back. He does have a bit of a big old space right there, but yeah, it can be dealt with. He can deal with that right now. But yeah, let's talk about his accessories real quick. He comes with a number of accessories. He comes with a gun. It is molded in mostly white plastic or mostly clear plastic. I don't know. It's all painted except for this handle, which is definitely white plastic. But the tip is also not painted, and that's clear. I want to say it's mostly clear plastic. And the handle is white for some reason. I don't know why. And that just plugs into his hand. It looks a little small on him. It would have been nice if there was maybe another ½ inch, 3/4 inch on the size of that. Maybe even a full inch. He also comes with this other guy here. I don't recognize this gun from either the cartoon or the toys. I know that for some of these figures, it's typical to have one gun for the Ultra Magnus mode and one gun for the white inner Prime mold. But of course, this guy doesn't have that, so I don't know. That will go in his fist as well. If you are not using them, you can just pull these out. They will fit into his back. This guy, you've got these little 2 tabs on here. One tab will fit into this slot right there on his butt. One will fit into this tab right here. You can either point it down or point it up. I think the most sensible way to do that is have it facing down like so. You cannot transform them you cannot transform it with that in place. You got to take those off. He also comes with the Omega Supreme blast effect. And so this can be, of course, just like Omega Supreme. This can be divided up into several different chunklets. And then these can be plugged in all over the place. Again, I don't know. I don't remember if I mentioned this when I reviewed Ultra Magnus, but they are really big. And they're hard to fit on Oh, I'll be damned. Huh. I was so used to figures having these little, like 3mm plugs all over them. I didn't even notice that Ultra Magnus does not have a single little blast effect nipple on him at all. You can pull this off and throw in like that. Of course, that looks completely wrong because the like billowy part down here and the like jaggedy part up here makes it look like there's motion being done this way, whereas if it was a rocket firing, the motion would be that way. I guess you could maybe plug them on one of these, but like that's a very heavy blast effect to be. Well, that's something. If you don't mind this, complete gap right there, that's something. I don't know. I've never been sold on the blast effects, and this absolutely is not helping me. I guess that's how I'll summarize that. But final accessory is if you lift up his little doohickey right here, and his chest automatically springs open. He does have a matrix in there that is removable. If I can yank it out. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, there's the matrix for him. This is basically the same sculpt as this is the one that came with Hot Rod, and this is the one that came with Optimus, the Earthrise Optimus. So it's basically the same sculptor around. Only real difference between them is what color of plastic they molded in. The Optimus is a slightly lighter shade of blue plastic than the Rodimus one, and Ultra Magnus is molded in completely clear plastic, so no coloration to it. You also can kind of, like, he can't hold it in his hands because look at these big old meat paws he's got. I guess mech paws. I've seen people like you can pinch it between his thumb and forefinger. But like, I don't know. None of these figures, of course, have been able to properly hold their matrices, because that's just not a realistic thing you can do. So there you go. It is kind of fun that these are spring loaded. When you lift up this blue part, they will automatically pop open. I also like the two-tone paint job in here. A little bit of silver, a little bit of blue. It looks very nice. Actually, it's three-tone, isn't it? I'm gonna have to pull this back out again, aren't I? Son of a... This is gonna go flying again, isn't it? Yes, it did. No, just two-tone. And for comparison, this is the one that came with G2 Optimus, so yeah. I don't know why I pulled that out, but I did. Take my matrices and go, I don't know, bitch slap Unicron with them or something. But yes, there he is in his robot mode. Those was all of his accessories. I guess the next thing to talk about is his articulation. So his head is on a ball joint. It rotates just freely. He does have, I'm not a fan of light piping usually unless it's like done fairly well, and I guess this is okay. He does have pretty pronounced light piping, mostly because the entire back of his skull is the clear plastic, and it is very clear plastic, and it's just the only blue is painted on the front. And so it looks all right, but it also makes his eyes look very dark when you're looking at them. But they still look blue, so I don't know. I'm not sure if this is a good execution of the gimmick or a bad execution of the gimmick. But yeah, his head is also on a hinge, so it can look like all the way the frick up. You can rotate his arm all the way around on this clickety joint. It will also go out, but because this is just a little pin joint, it's not the most solid, unfortunately. Also, depending on how you hold it, if you hold it by his shoulder when you're moving it back and forth, that's fine. If you're holding it by his arm, then when you go back down, you'll probably end up starting to untransform his arm. So that's a thing. He has a bicep swivel, single joint elbow bend for 90 degrees. He's got a wrist swivel. The 3 fingers and the 1 finger are separate. He can go out for a fair amount of a fairly good palm. And then he's got a 2 finger bend on each of those. The way his thumb is designed, though, the fingers don't play into whether or not he can hold anything at all. So he's got a waist joint here. His leg goes that far forward, that far back on this like kind of buttery smooth ratchet. Like I don't even know if this ratchet counts enough to ratchet. It doesn't. I don't feel any real resistance. And it goes out for like 95% of a Van Dam. He's got a thigh rotation here. Single jointed bend at the knee for 90 degrees. And that much of an ankle tilt. So that's that. Some things to talk about. One of the big issues that a lot of people have is that he is a wide boy, and he is. It would have been nice if they had done something. So, hold that thought for just a second. So, because of the way this all transforms, you've got this comes all the way back here. And this attaches up there because this is going to be the bottom of the truck here, and then this is the top of the truck here. You need to have enough space in between here and here that you can put vehicles and shit in there, right? But you've got to put the arm back where it's supposed to be, and you've got to not have it stick out. And this dual fold system is really probably the best way to do it with the proportions that we have. Part of me really likes the proportions that we have on the New Age one, where they had this this section here kind of flip around like that, which allow you to move the arm from back here to all the way up where it's supposed to go. But that only worked because the torso was so wide front to back that you didn't need to fold down this at all. If this was a shorter torso, then you would have to do something else to scrunch that in. So they could have put one single fold in there maybe if they'd done a flipping mechanism like that. But I don't know. I just don't see a way that they could have really gotten around that without doing a lot of redesigning of those shoulder joints. I don't think that it looks bad. It certainly looks better in person, I think, than it does in on video or pictures or whatnot. I've never once picked him up and been like, God damn, that's a beefy boy. Because we're used to seeing a lot of these robots that have really wide chests. Of course, we're used to seeing these Transformers not have human proportions at all. And don't get me wrong, this guy has got nothing close to approaching human proportions. So, Now, I get that. I also understand that the gold standard is not human proportions, but it's the proportions that we had in the movie, and he doesn't have that either because his torso is so freaking wide. But I don't know. I don't see it as being that big of a deal. You know, I think that it looks all right. I would even say that this figure looks about as good as the masterpiece that we got some years ago. You know, I thought that was done really well. Another talking point that I should touch on before we go into transformation is he does have these mechanisms where you can take him apart. I think that it's dumb, but it's totally a thing that he did in the show. So you go in here, there's like this red tab, and you got to pull down on that tab, and then you got to like wedge this thing out, and now his leg comes off. To do his arm, you have to untransform, or you have to open up this part here. I say untransform, but maybe not the best moniker for it. And it's the same sort of thing. You've got this red tab, and you got to like wiggle this thing out. And yeah, you can disassemble his arms and legs just like he did in the movie, in that one scene of that one movie. Seems like a lot of extra engineering for not a whole lot of benefit. Before you ask, no, you cannot attach his legs to his arms because all of this like thigh box gets in the way. And you can't attach the arm to the leg because the like mating flange on here is a lot thicker than this the gap around here as well. And I don't have any Combiner Wars figures anymore, but I understand that you cannot attach Combiner Wars parts to here. Oh no. Especially since in the Combiner Wars, the male parts were all on the limbs and the female parts were all on the torsos. So all you could do is like attach a torso to his torso, which seems really dumb. So, jury's out on the Stunticons, the most recent Legacy Stunticons. I don't know anybody who has them. So, I at one point was planning on being a person who had them, but I just became unenamored with them over time, and I never even saw the last like several of them. But that's a discussion for another time. Anyhow, let's get this guy transformed up. First thing we want to do is we'll start with the arms. So you want to take and you want to pop this guy here. You can pull this out however you want, wherever you want, whenever you want. It's all great. This little part here will come out and clip into that pylon there. You can take this, unplug that, fold this all the way around. Let's just bring this around where we can see it. You can take these little guys here and tab them in. I think that's actually a pretty clever design right there. This tab here will come around and plug into there like that. Around on this other side, you can flip out this little panel right here. You can open up this guy here, bring this out on a double joint, close it over his fist, and now his arm is all done. He's got the long gangly arm. And real quick, let's do the same with the other one. Pop that out. Extendo. Clip that into there. Bring this up and around. Clip those into place. Flip this tab around. Flip that panel out. Open, double joint, close. That's all basically done. For his body, what you want to do is we're going to unpeg this and then bring this up. Up like so. You can take this and kind of pull this out. I'm gonna need to angle this differently, aren't I? Bring this guy out. Basically, you need to like take this and bring this all the way around. Like this. So bring this all the way up, and then this panel here. Before we actually fold this in, you want to take this panel and flip that up like so, and then take this and flip this around. Yeah? Yeah. You're going to bring this panel down, and it doesn't peg in per se, but there's these two little tabs right here. And then there's like little notches on his cheeks. Right there. Let me get my spudger to point. These notches right here. And like these tabs like sit into those notches. But it's not like a click joint. It won't like tab in. It doesn't lock into position. It just, this is where you live. And it doesn't even care if you get that aligned well. So like I'm just going to throw it there and pray for the best, I guess. I don't know. Pray to whom, you might ask? Well, whoever I want. These little panels here open up a little bit, and then this little guy comes out and then opens. And you can take these tires and fold them down. And now you can start to put all of this together. You want to make sure, so you've got these little dual hinges in here. You want to make sure that this is like raised up as high as it'll go. Basically, you'll know you're in the right spot when this tab will fit into that, and then this tab will fit into that. Basically, you'll know you're in the right spot when everything works. These smokestacks, they go like here in robot mode, but you just like point them up. These guys are likely, these little tabs right here, they are likely going to come undone while you're working on this. It's no problem. You just plug them back into place. His little crotch section here will come all the way up. There's this round divot in there. You want to make this round protrude into the divot like so. Just take his legs and you can flip these out and then flip these out. There is, it's not a motion joint, but there is technically a double joint in here. So he's got his knee joint, right? And then you can see that there's like an additional thing in there. You cannot use this for posability. You gain no posability whatsoever by trying to like force that to work for you. It's just there for transformation. But now with that kind of extended down, you can take this leg and bend that knee all the way back up on itself. And you can see the difference. It collapses this in a bit. And then this will come up and around. And this tab here will fit into a slot right there, like that. And yeah, it's basically done. You can just take this and flip this out and slide that there. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. So, get that arm out of the way. Bend that all the way down. fold this back up on itself. Flippity-do this all the way around. Bring this up, slide that in. You can peg these together. These will come up. And you can peg them together. They'll have a series of tab, slot, tab, slot, tab, slot. Those are fully combined up. And then last but certainly not least is a couple more steps to finish this out. You want to take this, swing this around, flip that up. That will plug in right there. And you want to pull out these guys here, and then you can take this and extend that. For there, again, we want to do this thing on the other side. And then the very last step is this like double hinge that these wheels are on. You kind of pull them out so that they untab from the thing inside there and bring them down, and then they kind of like tab back in. And that lowers down these wheels just a bit so that they can now touch the floor. And then you can take these and you can plug them back in. So you've got your Magnus missiles. Magnusy, what? Magnuses. And there he is in his vehicular mode. And you can take these. This is the only weapon storage that you get. Just like these plugs here on the outside. And I think that they look ridiculous. But it is what it is, I guess. I feel like, oh yeah, that's right. This actually plugs in. Maybe that'll give me that little shred of clearance that I needed. I also feel like this. It came off. This is not plugging in the way it should. Maybe it does care. Basically, this tab was coming up, so you want to make sure that's down, down, down. And there is Ultra Magnus in his car carrier mode, and he can in fact carry cars. I don't have any cars handy. I haven't been focusing on the Generations line for my own personal collection, so I don't really have a bunch around. But yeah, he can fit a couple down here. He can fit a couple up here. You can put down this ramp here, and then you can pretend that they come up on there. And then you can put this one down as well. Like that. And you can really pretend, because of course there's no effing way that anything less than a monster truck is making that jump. But you know what? Transformers. All about pretend, so I dig that. There we go. Keep in mind, if you do that, you will need to like realign and reposition everything. But yeah, there he is. I do like the all-in-one design. It's swanky. I like the engineering of it. Like, I like the armor version for the playability, but I like the all-in-one for the engineering. I think that's pretty conclusively how I feel about it. But that's about all I've got on this guy. I think he's a heavy recommend. I should have done a size comparison with the other commander class that we got this year. Hello, big boy. All in all, oh yeah, just drop everything. Drop everything, Zach Mish. All in all, I don't know that I could say that he's necessarily better than the Armada Prime Commander class, but like I also can't say that he's necessarily worse. I think aesthetically, the Armada Prime looks better. But like Ultra Magnus, like this is I think the ultimate Ultra Magnus. I kind of feel like I want to track down a Kingdom Ultra Magnus just to like put them like side by side and like have them both, like have my cake and eat it too. But I don't know. It's a lot of work to track down figures that aren't currently like in production. Gosh, you know what? That's a terrible thing to say because it's a lot of work to track down figures that are currently in production. There's figures that I've been looking for months that I've never even seen once. So anyhow, yeah, if you I think this is a better scale and size and engineering. He just looks cool too. The siege Earthrise mold kind of was like a stumpy looking Ultra Magnus. And in fact, I think that's something that I may have said that when I first reviewed the Siege Ultra Magnus forever ago. That just don't want to fit at all, does it? Oh well. But yeah, I guess he comes at a recommendation from me. He's fun. I like him. But anyhow, that's all I've got. Everybody, thanks for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody, if you watched all the way in, you were an amazing human being, and I love you with all of my heart and soul. If you skipped around, well then, that's on your conscience. That's on your conscience, sir, or ma'am, madam, if you are watching this. But according to my YouTube demographics, pretty much everyone watching this is a guy. So, what's up, dudes? Anyhow, I'll let you guys go. Everybody stay awesome, be good to each other, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.